We're looking at the limestone interior of the Abu Ruwash pyramid, and this is the core. And we can descend into the core in this unique structure, unlike the other pyramids.
Oh my god, what's this? Wow. Very deep pit. That looks to me like a boat pit.
No way. Look at these lines. Look at these striations.
Exactly.
Look at these striations.
And also the higher parts and the lower parts shows that it was not
Exactly.
all cut at once.
Exactly.
It was like,
Especially here. This
here and here.
Exactly.
Yeah, here and there.
Exactly. You can see where the blade came from.
And we're talking about red granite from Aswan. How did they bring it up here? We are here in a mountainous region.
The Giza Plateau is one of the most iconic and mysterious ancient sites on Earth, home to the Great Pyramid, the Sphinx, and numerous other relics of antiquity. It has captured the imaginations of explorers, historians, and enthusiasts for centuries. While many can easily picture the grandeur of these structures, few realize that these monuments are still steeped in mystery. Despite centuries of study, questions remain unanswered about who built them, and more intriguingly, why. Just 5 miles to the southwest of Giza, within the lesser-known necropolis of Zawyet El-Aryan, lies a site that may hold the key to solving some of Egypt's greatest mysteries. In May 1900, Italian architect and Egyptologist Alessandro Barsanti was researching the Leia pyramid at Zawyet El-Aryan. Having previously discovered the tomb of Akhenaten, Barsanti had earned a respected reputation in his field. However, the Leia pyramid disappointed him. It was crumbling, incomplete, and devoid of artifacts. Like other Egyptologists before him, Barsanti concluded the pyramid had been abandoned due to the death of the king who commissioned it. Discouraged, Barsanti began his return journey to Giza, but he took an alternative route along an upper plateau, offering sweeping views of the landscape. It was here that he noticed something unusual: scattered granite fragments and fine granite powder, evidence of stone cutting. Barsanti immediately suspected this was where ancient workers had prepared stone for a hidden tomb. Intrigued, Barsanti returned to Giza and assembled a team to explore the site. Within 2 days of excavation, his intuition proved correct. Beneath the sand, Barsanti uncovered the entrance to an enormous limestone pit. To his surprise, the pit was filled with large limestone blocks, each weighing several tons, seemingly thrown in without care, suggesting a deliberate attempt to conceal what lay below. On December 8th, at a depth of 21 meters, the team uncovered a significant find: a large pink granite block. Granite was not only more valuable than limestone, but also harder to work with, reserved for only the most important structures. This discovery convinced Barsanti that they had found something special. As excavation continued, more pink granite blocks were revealed, suggesting a massive subterranean structure. By February 1905, Barsanti and his team uncovered a 30-ton granite block that seemed to mark the bottom of the pit. Barsanti believed this was the entrance to a subterranean world, potentially filled with tombs and treasures. Complicating the mystery, his team also found inscriptions carved into the stones. Despite sending sketches to Egyptologists in Giza and Cairo, no one could agree on their meaning or origin. This deepened Barsanti's conviction that something extraordinary was hidden below. Barsanti used machinery to move the granite blocks, but they were interlocked like puzzle pieces. Digging further, Barsanti made his most astonishing discovery yet: an oval-shaped vat carved from pink granite, polished to a mirror-like finish. It had been carefully sealed with layers of lime and clay. When the team removed the lid, they found no treasure, only a thin black residue along the walls. Barsanti hypothesized that the vat once contained a liquid offering that had evaporated over time. Despite the disappointment, Barsanti believed the mysterious vat held great significance. Why had the builders gone to such lengths to protect it? Determined to solve the puzzle, Barsanti continued his excavation, uncovering a massive cork-like granite block sealing off what he believed were hidden chambers below. Word of Barsanti's discoveries spread, but many of his colleagues remained skeptical. They insisted the pit was merely the foundation of an unfinished pyramid. However, Barsanti pressed on, and two events seemed to support his theory. First, his team uncovered a well-finished staircase at the pit's northern end. Too refined for laborers, as if it led to ceremonial chambers. Then, a torrential rainstorm flooded the pit, only for the water level to drop suddenly, as if it had seeped into a hidden chamber below. Despite mounting obstacles, including the complex interlocking granite blocks and dwindling funds, Barsanti continued his work. By 1906, however, he ran out of money and had to stop the excavation. He spent years searching for new funding and finally secured it in 1911. Yet even with renewed efforts, the work proved too difficult. And once again, Barsanti was forced to abandon the project before uncovering what lay beneath the pit. He died in 1917, leaving the mystery unresolved. Barsanti's work sparked a lingering curiosity about Zawyet El-Aryan, but the site lay dormant for decades after his death. In the 1950s, it briefly resurfaced as the set for the movie The Land of the Pharaohs, but it was soon forgotten again. Barsanti's notes eventually caught the attention of Italian scholars Vito Maragioglio and Celeste Rinaldi, who set out to continue his work in the 1960s. However, their efforts were cut short when, in 1964, the Egyptian government restricted access to Zawyet El-Aryan, designating it as a military base. This abrupt restriction of access raised suspicions. Why was the government blocking off this site just as interest in it was reviving? To this day, many Egyptologists assert there is no mystery at Zawyet El-Aryan, claiming the pit is simply the foundation of an unfinished pyramid. Yet Barsanti, who studied Egypt's ancient wonders for decades, was adamant that this was no ordinary pyramid foundation. If the pit was just a foundation, why go to such lengths to construct a floor made of interlocking granite blocks, held together by strong mortar and designed to be nearly impossible to move? Furthermore, why use valuable pink granite, which had to be transported from Aswan, nearly 600 miles away, if the structure was to be buried under a pyramid? Limestone, far easier to source and work with, would have sufficed. Then, there was the mystery of the inscriptions Barsanti found at the site. Scholars to this day remain divided on their meaning. And what about the finely crafted oval vat? If this was a pyramid foundation, why go to such great lengths to intricately carve this vat, polish it, and seal it with lime and clay? In recent years, a new theory has emerged, connecting the mystery of Zawyet El-Aryan to the Great Pyramid of Giza. For centuries, the Great Pyramid has puzzled historians. Conventional wisdom holds that it was built as a tomb for Pharaoh Khufu, but no human remains, treasures, or artifacts have ever been found inside, leading many to question this explanation. In the 1960s, Edward Kunkel proposed a radical theory. The Great Pyramid was not a tomb, but a massive water pump designed to irrigate the desert. Kunkel argued that the pyramid's internal chambers and passages functioned as part of a hydraulic system. His theory was met with skepticism, but some engineers saw merit in the idea. They pointed out that a ram pump, which uses gravity to move water, could have worked on the scale Kunkel proposed. By the 1990s, marine engineer John Cadman took Kunkel's theory further. He studied the pyramid's subterranean chamber and found signs of water damage. Cadman built a scale model of the pyramid's subterranean chamber and confirmed that it could function as a water pump. His experiments led to an unexpected discovery. The pyramid generated powerful compression waves, pulses that could create electricity. This raised a startling question. Could the ancient Egyptians have used the Great Pyramid to generate electricity? Cadman's research suggested it was possible. The pyramid's outer casing of insulating white limestone, its granite interior, and its gold capstone all pointed to a design capable of generating and harnessing electrical energy. With this new perspective, researchers revisited the mystery of Zawyet El-Aryan. Could the pit have been part of an ancient electrical system connected to the Great Pyramid? Some believe the oval vat may have played a key role in this system, with the black residue providing evidence of a long-lost process for generating electricity. Perhaps this is why the Egyptian government sealed off Zawyet El-Aryan in the 1960s. What secrets lie beneath the pit? Could it hold proof of an ancient civilization's advanced technology? As research continues, we may one day uncover the truth about an ancient Egypt far more advanced than we ever imagined. Nestled near the Fayum oasis, the Hawara pyramid site may appear unremarkable today, but to ancient historians it was a place of awe and grandeur. Herodotus, often called the father of history, described it in terms that still leave modern scholars in awe. He recounted that compared to the labyrinth he encountered, even the grandest Greek temples and pyramids paled in both effort and expense. It was a structure of such enormous scale and complexity that it surpassed even the famous pyramids of Egypt. For centuries, however, many dismissed his account as fanciful or exaggerated, especially given Herodotus's reputation for embellishment. However, as time passed, more of his descriptions have been vindicated, particularly regarding his accounts of Lake Moeris near Hawara. He spoke of two pyramids rising nearly 93 meters above the surface of the water, each crowned with a seated stone statue. In the late 19th century, famed British archaeologist Flinders Petrie confirmed the presence of two seated colossi, each about 18 meters high and made of hard quartzite sandstone. This discovery was one of many that would lend credence to Herodotus's words. The site of the Hawara pyramid holds far more than just these statues. When researchers began to investigate the pyramid itself, they unearthed evidence of remarkable ancient engineering. Despite its present appearance, a crumbling pile of dark mud, the pyramid conceals a megalithic core built with astounding precision. Beneath its decayed exterior, the masonry is of exceptional quality, with blocks fitted so tightly that not even a blade could slip between them. This core represents two distinct types of ancient technologies. One, the megalithic stone core, and the other, a more fragile mud brick construction that has long since crumbled. Flinders Petrie, a pioneer in the study of ancient Egyptian architecture, was the first to delve into this mystery in detail. He noted that the stone casing of the pyramid had been removed during Roman times, leaving the interior exposed to the elements. Unlike other pyramids of the time, the entrance to this one was on the south side, not the north, and lay at ground level. It was designed with descending passages that had ramps on both sides, resembling a system for moving heavy cargo. This unique layout distinguished the Hawara pyramid from others in Egypt, leading Petrie to believe that its original purpose may have been different from typical pyramids. One of the most astonishing aspects of the structure is its system of trapdoors. Massive stone slabs weighing around 20 tons each, designed to seal off passageways. Petrie discovered 3 such trapdoors, all of which had been left open. His exploration of the pyramid led him to a central chamber carved from a single block of quartzite sandstone, forming a large tank-like structure in which a sarcophagus was placed. This colossal monolith, weighing over 110 tons, had been hewn with such precision, Petrie marveled at the technical skill required to carve and place such an enormous block of stone into a carefully excavated hollow. What truly puzzled Petrie, however, was the design of the tomb itself. There was no visible entrance, and the only way the pharaoh's body could have been placed inside would have been during the construction of the pyramid. Even more curiously, no inscriptions were found inside the chamber or on the sarcophagus, a rarity for a royal tomb. Instead, Petrie found only traces of charred bones, charcoal, and remnants of burnt diorite, suggesting that whatever had once been inside the sarcophagus had been deliberately destroyed by fire. The mystery deepened when Petrie examined a second sarcophagus in the chamber, one that appeared to have been added after the pyramid's construction. This later addition was smaller and lacked the technical precision of the original sarcophagus, raising questions about the purpose and timeline of the additions to the tomb. It was as though the pyramid had been used for multiple, distinct purposes over time, each contributing to its enigmatic history. While Petrie focused on the pyramid, he also uncovered evidence of a much larger structure nearby. The legendary labyrinth of Egypt, which had long been mentioned in ancient texts. Herodotus had described it as a massive complex of 3,000 rooms, arranged in a maze-like formation, some above ground and others below. He was forbidden from entering the underground chambers, as they were said to house the tombs of kings and sacred crocodiles. Yet what Herodotus saw above ground left him awestruck, and later historians would echo his astonishment. Strabo, a Greek geographer who visited the site centuries later, described the labyrinth's monolithic ceilings and walls, each constructed from enormous slabs of stone. When Petrie began excavating the area in front of the Hawara pyramid, he uncovered evidence of this labyrinth beneath the remains of a later village. Beneath the village, he found layers of stone chips and fragments, the remains of what had once been an enormous stone structure. He concluded that this was indeed the foundation of the fabled labyrinth. His findings aligned with the ancient accounts. The structure was so large that, as he noted, it could have contained the temples of Karnak and Luxor within its boundaries. However, the labyrinth had long since been destroyed, its stones quarried and repurposed by later generations. All that remained were the foundations and fragments, a ghost of the massive structure that had once stood there. And yet, despite the extensive damage, Petrie's findings suggested that this labyrinth had been far more than just a building. It was a monumental work of engineering and architecture that had once awed the ancient world. As we delve deeper into the mysteries of Hawara, it becomes clear that this site still holds secrets waiting to be uncovered. The labyrinth described by Herodotus, Strabo, and other classical writers may not be entirely lost. In fact, modern technology has revealed tantalizing clues that suggest much of it may still lie hidden beneath the sands, waiting to be rediscovered. In the 21st century, new technologies have allowed researchers to explore the Hawara site in ways that Petrie could only have dreamed of. Ground-penetrating radar and other advanced tools have given archaeologists the ability to peer beneath the surface without disturbing the ancient ruins. One such expedition in 2008, led by the Mataja project, a team of geophysicists, used radar technology to investigate the area beneath what Petrie had identified as the foundation of the labyrinth. What they discovered was nothing short of remarkable, a vast network of walls and chambers buried deep beneath the surface. Their findings suggested that what Petrie had thought was a foundation might actually have been the roof of the labyrinth, which could still exist underground. The radar scans revealed a grid of rooms and passageways at depths of 8 to 12 meters, confirming the existence of a colossal structure that matched the descriptions given by ancient historians. Despite the significance of these findings, the news was met with unexpected resistance. Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities, led by Zahi Hawass, requested that the results be withheld from the public, citing concerns about national security. The Mataja team faced delays and obstacles, but after 2 years, they were finally able to publish their report. Their findings supported the ancient accounts of a labyrinth that was far larger than any temple known in Egypt, a structure that had remained hidden beneath the sands for millennia. The labyrinth's complexity and scale raised even more questions about its purpose. Why would such an enormous structure be built underground, and what was it used for? Some researchers speculated that it could have been a secret repository, a place where valuable artifacts or knowledge were stored. Others suggested that it might have served as a ceremonial or religious center, its labyrinthine corridors and chambers designed to disorient and awe those who entered. One of the most intriguing aspects of the labyrinth is its apparent age. The orientation of the structure, which is tilted by 20 to 25 degrees compared to the nearby Hawara pyramid, suggests that it may be much older than the pyramid itself. If this is true, it raises the possibility that the labyrinth predates the pharaohs and could be a relic of a much earlier civilization. Despite the advances in technology, many mysteries remain unsolved. The subterranean chambers have yet to be fully explored, and no one knows what lies within them. Could the labyrinth still contain treasures or texts from an ancient era? Could it hold clues to the origins of the Egyptians or even earlier cultures that inhabited the region? For now, these questions remain unanswered, as the labyrinth remains buried beneath layers of earth and time. Beneath the Giza Plateau, near the Great Sphinx and pyramids, lies a mysterious structure that may reshape our understanding of ancient Egypt. Known as the Osiris Shaft, this subterranean complex challenges conventional timelines. Could it predate the pyramids? And what was its true purpose? Recent discoveries and a groundbreaking dating method have led Egyptologists to rethink what they thought they knew about this ancient civilization. The Osiris Shaft descends 35 meters into the bedrock beneath the causeway leading to the Sphinx. It comprises multiple levels, with the lowest chamber housing a granite sarcophagus surrounded by water. This chamber is sometimes referred to as the Tomb of Osiris. But what exactly was this structure intended for? Its purpose remains shrouded in mystery, with no clear answers in sight. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Osiris Shaft is the unusual material used in one of the sarcophagi. Egyptologists discovered a stone unlike anything previously found in Egypt. How did it end up here, deep in the bedrock? Even stranger, the structure itself seems to have been designed without easy access in mind. There are no steps or ladders leading down to its depths. The ones installed now were placed there by modern archaeologists, suggesting that the ancient builders had no intention of facilitating frequent visits. The logistics of moving the massive sarcophagi, some weighing up to 40 tons, further deepen the mystery. How were they lowered with such precision into the shaft, which itself was not designed for easy entry or exit? The precision required to lower these gigantic objects without error suggests a technological ability that we do not fully understand. One sarcophagus found on the second level was particularly remarkable. It was covered in a thin film of bitumen, with a metallic coating beneath it. This metal, containing elements like lead and zinc, is puzzling. Why use a metallic coating inside a sarcophagus? Lead, in particular, raises questions, as it is known today for its use in radiation shielding. Could the ancient Egyptians have been aware of this? Moreover, measurements showed unusually high levels of gamma radiation inside the sarcophagus, further hinting at a function beyond burial. The method used to date one of these sarcophagi, called optical thermoluminescence, measures the last time the stone was exposed to light. The results suggested a date as far back as 3350 BCE, centuries before the accepted construction dates of the pyramids. This implies that the Osiris Shaft could predate the pyramids and the earliest dynasties of Egypt. What's even more curious is the material of one sarcophagus, dacite, an igneous rock not found anywhere in Egypt. In fact, after consulting with geologists, it was confirmed that there are no significant dacite deposits in Africa large enough to produce a sarcophagus of this size. This means the stone was transported from outside the continent, perhaps from Europe or the Black Sea. The logistics of transporting a 40-ton block of stone across seas and deserts remains a mystery. Why didn't the builders use locally sourced granite or basalt, which would have been far easier to acquire? This discovery challenges long-standing views on ancient Egypt's chronology. The dating method used reveals a time well before the pyramids, offering a glimpse into a distant past. Could the Osiris Shaft represent the work of a forgotten civilization, one whose achievements have been lost to time? As we explore the depths of the shaft, more questions emerge. Was the shaft's design deliberate, meant to preserve the dead using unknown methods? Could the high radiation levels within the sarcophagi have played a role in ancient preservation techniques? The builders of this structure may have known things we have yet to uncover. As archaeologists delve deeper into the Osiris shaft, they challenge established notions of ancient Egypt. On the third and deepest level, a stone island surrounded by water holds yet another granite sarcophagus. This time, the sarcophagus is made of granite, a material more common in Egyptian structures. However, its location deep underground and surrounded by water raises further questions. This sarcophagus dates to around 2370 BCE, placing it in the Old or Middle Kingdom. Interestingly, the design of the third level seems to be a later addition to the shaft, suggesting the site may have been used and modified over centuries. If true, this means the Osiris shaft was considered important long before the time of the pyramids. One of the most intriguing features of the third level is the water system. A meticulously shaped canal surrounds the chamber, and the water level appears to be maintained at a precise depth. How did the builders engineer such a system over 100 feet underground? The bedrock in this area is solid, making natural water leaks unlikely. This suggests that the builders tapped into a hidden water source, possibly through an underground channel or spring. At the Osirion, another ancient Egyptian site, similar subterranean water channels have been discovered, indicating that the ancient builders had advanced knowledge of hydroengineering. Water was often seen as a source of life and regeneration, and its presence in the Osiris shaft may have had symbolic significance in ancient rituals related to death and rebirth. This brings us to the connection between the shaft and Osiris, the Egyptian god of the dead and the underworld. According to myth, Osiris was resurrected in a sarcophagus placed on an island surrounded by water. The third level of the shaft closely mirrors this imagery. Could the builders have been trying to replicate the tomb of Osiris? Or was this part of a deeper religious practice? Oddly, the sarcophagi found in the Osiris shaft are devoid of inscriptions, which is unusual for ancient Egyptian tombs. This absence of hieroglyphs has led some scholars to suggest that these sarcophagi were not intended for traditional burials, but served a different, perhaps secretive, purpose. Adding to the mystery, researchers detected significant levels of radiation inside the sarcophagi. Combined with the lead coating found on the second level, this suggests that the sarcophagi might have had an advanced preservative function, something we do not yet fully understand. If the ancient Egyptians had knowledge of radiation's effects on preservation, it would represent a technological leap far beyond what we currently attribute to their civilization. Beyond the physical mysteries, the Osiris shaft raises important questions about the origins of Egyptian civilization. The dating of the second-level sarcophagus to as early as 3350 BCE points to a pre-dynastic origin, making the shaft one of the oldest structures in Egypt. As we continue to investigate the Osiris shaft, the possibility of discovering hidden chambers, artifacts, or tunnels remains high. The Osiris shaft is rewriting our understanding of ancient Egypt and perhaps even pointing to a forgotten chapter in human history. Hidden deep in the desert sands of Abydos, approximately 350 miles south of the Great Pyramid of Giza, stands the Osirion, a monumental structure shrouded in mystery. Its origins, purpose, and design have baffled archaeologists and researchers for decades. Unlike the well-known temples of ancient Egypt, the Osirion defies traditional pharaonic architectural norms, leading some to believe it could be the product of a much older, technologically advanced civilization. Could this ancient structure hold the key to a forgotten chapter of human history? The first puzzle presented by the Osirion lies in its striking architectural divergence from typical Egyptian temples. While most temples of the pharaonic era adhere to a linear rectangular layout, the Osirion's design breaks the mold with its unique L-shaped configuration. This anomaly alone raises critical questions about the intentions behind its construction. Was it built for a different purpose than Egypt's standard religious edifices? Or does it reflect the architectural style of an unknown, perhaps much older culture? Adding to the mystery is the Osirians' relationship with the nearby temple of Seti Prayus, built during the 19th dynasty. Archaeological evidence suggests that the Osirian predates the temple of Seti Ras by centuries, if not millennia, implying that the site held significant importance long before the reign of Seti. This ancient structure was already in place when Seti chose to build his temple beside it, as though honoring an ancient relic from a bygone era. What made the Osirion so significant, and why did it attract the attention of the Egyptian kings? The sheer scale of the Osirion is awe-inspiring. The core of the structure is composed of massive rose granite blocks, some of which weigh an astonishing 100 tons. These immense stones were quarried from Aswan, located over 200 miles to the south, a logistical challenge that seems insurmountable given the tools and technology traditionally attributed to the Egyptians of the time. Moving these massive blocks across hundreds of miles of desert, and then precisely positioning them in a desert location far from the Nile, is a feat that defies explanation. Without evidence of advanced machinery, how were these massive stones transported and assembled with such precision? The Osirians' architecture, featuring a sophisticated double-layered roofing system and interlocking wedges, suggests a level of engineering knowledge far beyond what ancient Egypt is known to have possessed. The use of granite, a hard and unforgiving material, only adds to the mystery. Working with granite requires advanced tools and knowledge, skills that, according to historical records, the Egyptians had not yet developed during the early dynastic periods. Another striking feature of the Osirion is its complete lack of Egyptian hieroglyphs or artwork. In contrast to nearly every other Egyptian temple or monument, which are richly decorated with carvings, inscriptions, and illustrations, the Osirion is eerily bare. Throughout Egypt's history, temples were frequently renovated, with each generation adding new inscriptions and artwork. Even more unusual is the Osirion's subterranean layout, which is highly uncharacteristic of Egyptian temple architecture. The entire structure lies 15 feet below ground level, leading some researchers to propose that the temple could be far older than its surrounding counterparts. The idea that it predates the buildup of sand and soil that has accumulated over millennia suggests a timeline stretching back to an era before the sands of Egypt's desert even existed in their current form. Water erosion patterns found on the limestone enclosure surrounding the Osirion add yet another layer to the mystery. Some researchers argue that these erosion marks could only have been caused by a much wetter climate, possibly dating the structure back to the end of the last ice age, when the region experienced more rainfall. If true, this would place the Osirion's construction over 10,000 years ago, far earlier than the dynastic Egyptian civilization. Perhaps the most intriguing feature of the Osirion is the presence of water within the structure itself. Modern seismic technology has revealed that the visible portion of the Osirion is only the uppermost part of a much larger complex, which extends at least 50 feet below the current floor level. Beneath the surface, seismic tests have indicated the presence of hollow chambers, which have yet to be explored due to the water that continually fills the site. Despite multiple attempts, archaeologists have been unable to drain the water, which seems to replenish at an alarming rate. The source of this water remains unknown, and its continuous flow presents a baffling enigma. Some researchers suggest that the Osirion's complex hydraulic system, which includes channels, basins, and possibly sluices, was designed to control and manipulate water flow within the structure. The precision of these features points to an advanced understanding of hydraulic engineering, something not typically associated with ancient Egyptian technology. While the Egyptians were known for their use of irrigation canals and basins for agriculture, the Osirians' water management techniques are far more sophisticated. The mysteries of the Osirion continue to deepen as researchers attempt to unlock its secrets. The constant replenishment of water within the structure defies explanation. James Westerman, a renowned archaeologist and historian, has spent decades studying the Osirion. His efforts to pump out the water from the structure have been met with frustration. Even with a pump capable of removing 500 gallons of water per minute, the water level continues to rise, seemingly replenishing itself faster than it can be removed. Westerman's words capture the perplexity of the situation. Water is emerging from inside the structure. This shouldn't be happening, especially in the desert. Something strange is going on here. In 2023, Westerman's team employed advanced technology to analyze the water within the Osirion, measuring its pressure, temperature, conductivity, and chemical composition. The results were astounding. The water in the Osirion was found to have a unique chemical profile, different from the surrounding wells and aquifers in the area. Westerman's research suggested that the water was being forced up through the structure, almost as though it were being propelled by some unknown force. The water's chemical composition and isotopic profile indicated that it did not originate from the nearby Nile River or local aquifers. Where, then, is this water coming from? The Osirion's water behaves more like that of a geyser, but without the typical signs of volcanic activity. Is there an underground spring or reservoir beneath the structure, or could the water be flowing from a deeper, as yet undiscovered source? One of the most intriguing aspects of the water is its unique properties. Westerman conducted hydrologic studies and found that the water within the Osirion was drinkable after filtration. Over time, Westerman began drinking the water regularly, and he noticed something extraordinary. His eyesight began to improve. A lifelong sufferer of nearsightedness, Westerman eventually no longer needed glasses, a fact that was confirmed by an eye test. Could the water from the Osirion possess healing properties? Westerman believes so and continues to drink the water, attributing his improved vision to its mysterious qualities. Yet another anomaly is the temperature of the water. The water outside the Osirion measures a consistent 16.9 degrees Celsius, but the water inside the structure is significantly warmer, measuring 23.8 degrees Celsius. This temperature difference defies the second law of thermodynamics, which states that heat cannot spontaneously transfer from a cooler to a warmer body. Something within the Osirion is heating the water, but no one knows what it is or how it is happening. As researchers continue to study the Osirion, its true scale and purpose remain elusive. What is visible today may only be the tip of the iceberg. The structure extends far beneath the surface, with hidden chambers still unexplored due to the constant flow of water. Could these underground chambers hold more secrets about the origins of the Osirion and its builders? As we probe deeper into the Osirion's mysteries, we are left with more questions than answers. One thing is certain: this ancient structure is far older and more complex than we ever imagined, and it may hold the key to understanding a lost chapter of human history. In the ancient city of Luxor, hidden within its majestic temple walls, lies a mystery that challenges modern understanding of ancient Egypt's science and philosophy. Egyptologist Shwala de Lubitsch, after 12 years of detailed study of the Temple of Luxor, proposed that the ancient Egyptians held a sophisticated and immutable knowledge, fully developed from the earliest dynasties. This knowledge, according to de Lubitsch, far surpassed that of other civilizations at the time, hinting at a deeper understanding of the universe. De Lubitsch's research into the temple's intricate carvings and architectural design led him to a remarkable discovery, which he called transparency in the stone blocks. While copying temple plans and examining wall carvings, he noticed tiny embedded stones in larger blocks, which had been previously dismissed as errors. De Lubitsch proposed that these stones were markers placed by the master builders for precise measurements. This realization spurred adjustments in his own measurements, leading to even more astonishing findings. He observed that carvings on opposite sides of some walls seemed to align in impossible ways, as if the stone between them was transparent. allowing the design to flow through. This phenomenon, which de Lubitsch likened to a see-through banknote, suggested a level of craftsmanship and intentionality that defied conventional understanding of ancient architecture. The temple's carvings could only be fully appreciated when viewed as a continuous design, transcending the physical stone. One striking example of this transparency is between Room 12 and Room 5 in the Temple of Luxor. A stone block separating these rooms features carvings that seem to project through the stone itself. In Room 12, a hieroglyph for cloth is carved, while in Room 5, a box for cloths appears. The two images fitting together as if the stone was transparent. The technical precision needed to achieve this effect raises profound questions about the knowledge and skills of the ancient builders. De Lubitsch's discoveries extended beyond transparency. He also identified transposition, where symbols and carvings were arranged across different parts of the temple to create multi-dimensional connections. For instance, Montu's solar disk in Room 2 is projected into the shrine of Amun-Ra's boat in Room 6. The boat's content is hidden, requiring the observer to explore multiple spaces to understand the intended meaning. These techniques suggest a level of philosophical and scientific depth in ancient Egyptian culture that modern Egyptology had long overlooked. De Lubitsch argued that the Egyptians weren't just concealing knowledge in their architecture, but were presenting a more profound, spatial form of understanding. By dividing concepts across different parts of the temple, the Egyptians created an environment where knowledge was experienced holistically, rather than as isolated facts or images. In his groundbreaking work on the Temple of Luxor, de Lubitsch revealed an entirely new architectural grammar. This grammar, found in the block's shapes, joints, and symbolic overlays, turned the Egyptian temple into a living library of knowledge, accessible only through deep study. His discoveries redefined how scholars approached ancient Egyptian architecture, leading to a re-evaluation of the intellectual achievements of this ancient civilization. The most revolutionary aspect of de Lubitsch's work was the realization that the meaning of inscriptions and symbols on one wall couldn't be fully understood without considering their relationships to the carvings around them. This interconnectivity suggested a three-dimensional approach to knowledge that engaged the observer on multiple levels. For de Lubitsch, the true purpose of transparency and transposition was not only to complete an idea, but to clarify it in a way that transcended traditional communication methods. As we explore the mysteries of the Temple of Luxor, it becomes clear that the ancient Egyptians had a unique understanding of art and science. Their use of transparency and transposition reflected a worldview that connected the physical and metaphysical, the material and immaterial. Transparency, in particular, hinted at a belief that solid matter was deceptive, with light, or knowledge itself, as the true fundamental reality. De Lubitsch's discoveries at the Temple of Luxor did more than challenge traditional views of Egyptian architecture. They opened the door to a new understanding of how the Egyptians viewed the world. Through transparency and transposition, de Lubitsch uncovered a sophisticated system of thought that extended beyond the temple. He believed that this system could be found in other artifacts, such as papyri, which contained multi-layered meanings to be understood holistically. Transparency, for example, was more than an architectural technique. It represented a deeper philosophical belief. By prioritizing light over solid matter, the Egyptians expressed a worldview that saw physical reality as secondary to the metaphysical. De Lubitsch suggested that this belief in the primacy of light explains why transparency was central to the Temple of Luxor's design. The stone blocks weren't just barriers, but conduits for knowledge and understanding. Transposition added yet another dimension to this philosophy, emphasizing the importance of seeing beyond the surface. To understand the temple fully, one had to move through it, experiencing the connections between different spaces and symbols. This design reflected an understanding of spatial awareness and perception that resonates with modern psychological theories, such as Gestalt. Gestalt psychology, which emerged in the early 20th century, focuses on the idea that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Human perception organizes individual elements into a unified whole, rather than analyzing each part in isolation. De Lubitsch's work mirrors this idea, as he argued that the carvings and inscriptions in the temple were part of a larger, interconnected system. Just as Gestalt theory emphasizes the importance of perceiving the overall form, de Lubitsch focused on perceiving the entire meaning of the temple. De Lubitsch's discoveries lead to profound questions. Who were the true sources of this knowledge? Were the Egyptians responsible for developing these advanced ideas, or were they inheritors of wisdom passed down from an even older civilization? And what can these ancient ideas teach us about the nature of reality? By connecting ancient Egyptian concepts with modern scientific theories, we uncover new insights into the mysteries of the past, and the possibility that the answers to our most profound questions may lie not in the future, but in the distant past. The Serapeum of Saqqara, nestled near Cairo, holds one of ancient Egypt's most puzzling enigmas. Enormous granite boxes, often considered to be sarcophagi. These immense boxes, carved from single blocks of granite with an astonishing level of precision, continue to baffle archaeologists, engineers, and historians. How did the ancient Egyptians craft these structures with such detail and accuracy, sparking ongoing debates about their origins? These boxes are far from ordinary stone coffins. Each is crafted from a single block of granite, known for its extreme hardness and difficulty to work with. Some of these boxes, complete with their lids, weigh as much as 70 tons, while the raw blocks they were carved from likely weighed over 200 tons. What's truly remarkable is the precision of the craftsmanship. The corners are perfectly squared, and the surfaces are so smooth they seem to rival modern machinery in accuracy. Achieving this level of exactness, especially millennia ago, raises the question: did the ancient Egyptians possess technology beyond what we've ever imagined? The interior of these boxes is equally awe-inspiring. While the smooth exteriors are impressive enough, the flawless precision on the inside seems even more impossible. How did they hollow out these massive granite blocks with such accuracy, given the tools thought to be available at the time? Copper tools, often credited to the Egyptians, would have been insufficient for the task, and the uniform thickness of the walls suggests the use of sophisticated measurement techniques far ahead of their time. Such uniformity in these boxes is unparalleled in other Egyptian artifacts, leading to more questions. Hollowing out these granite blocks would have required not just immense labor, but an advanced understanding of stone-cutting techniques that we still don't fully comprehend. Conventional explanations, primarily focusing on copper tools, fall short when compared to the remarkable precision of these boxes. How then did the Egyptians achieve this level of perfection? Some theories propose that the builders had access to lost technology, perhaps advanced tools or machinery, now forgotten in the annals of history. Researchers speculate about high-speed drills, diamond-tipped saws, or other sophisticated equipment. The notion of advanced technology in ancient Egypt is controversial, yet the evidence presented by these granite boxes continues to fuel this debate. Adding to the mystery is the question of purpose. While traditionally believed to be sarcophagi for the sacred Apis bulls, the excessive craftsmanship for mere burials raises doubts. Could these boxes have served a more complex function, perhaps related to energy manipulation or another unknown scientific process? This question remains unanswered and continues to intrigue modern researchers. Even transporting these massive boxes presents an engineering challenge. The narrow and winding underground tunnels of the Serapeum would have made moving the 70-ton boxes an extraordinary feat, requiring advanced knowledge of engineering or transportation. Additionally, there are no visible signs of torches or burn marks in the tunnels. How did they light these spaces while moving such colossal objects? Despite the many mysteries, mainstream archaeologists attribute the precision and craftsmanship of the Serapeum boxes to the skill and patience of ancient Egyptian stoneworkers. They argue that, over generations, the Egyptians perfected their techniques, achieving incredible accuracy through dedication rather than technology. Critics of the advanced technology theory maintain that there is no concrete evidence supporting the existence of machines or sophisticated tools during the time these boxes were created. Yet, as more of these boxes are discovered throughout Egypt, the questions multiply. Across the country, similar examples of giant granite boxes exist, each demonstrating the same level of craftsmanship and precision. This suggests the possibility of a forgotten technology, one far beyond what is traditionally accepted in the study of ancient Egypt. One example, found in the Cairo Museum, displays an irregular slanted cut that was likely abandoned due to an error in the process. But this mistake tells more than expected. It reveals the possibility of a highly advanced cutting method. The cut extends deep into the granite, an impossible feat with traditional copper chisels or saws. The precision hints at the use of circular saws or similar tools capable of cutting through granite with speed and accuracy. Traditional theories suggest that the Egyptians used slow copper-based saws to cut granite. However, modern attempts to replicate this technique resulted in an excruciatingly slow cutting rate of only 4 millimeters per hour. At such a pace, it's implausible that ancient artisans wouldn't have corrected the significant deviation seen in the error. The precision of the cut suggests the use of advanced machinery far beyond what is typically attributed to ancient Egypt. Similar saw marks have been observed on other granite boxes, some of which are also displayed at the Cairo Museum. These marks resemble those made by modern band saws, but appear to indicate an even higher operational speed. Contemporary granite cutting saws rely on diamond-encrusted blades, technology believed to be far out of reach for the ancient Egyptians. Yet the marks persist, challenging our understanding of the tools available in that era. Adding to the intrigue are the perfectly round tube drill holes found in various granite artifacts throughout Egypt. The depth and uniformity of these holes suggest the use of advanced drills, possibly equipped with diamond-tipped tools. One of the most striking examples is Core 7, a cylindrical piece of granite discovered near the Great Pyramids. The continuous spiral groove on Core 7 resembles the groove of a vinyl record. In fact, modern machinery that could produce such a result would require high-speed rotation and diamond-tipped tools, technologies not associated with ancient Egypt. Core 7's spiral grooves suggest a force and precision greater than modern power drills, raising the question of whether the Egyptians, or a lost civilization, had access to technology now lost to history. Across Egypt, the evidence of these granite boxes continues to challenge mainstream views. Could these artifacts have been created by a lost civilization with advanced technology? Or are we simply missing a piece of the puzzle regarding how the Egyptians worked with stone? The precision, craftsmanship, and technology evident in these objects suggest that they were made with methods we don't yet understand. The most extraordinary example of precision stonework may be the granite box discovered beneath the pyramid at Lahun. Within a polished granite chamber lies a tilted box with 4 corners so perfectly aligned that modern measurement tools reveal almost no discrepancy. Another similar box was found at Mastaba 17, buried beneath a pile of mud bricks. Both examples display precision that raises questions about their origin and purpose. Could these boxes have been repurposed by the Egyptians, who may have inherited them from a lost civilization? The mystery of these granite boxes remains unsolved. Could they represent the remnants of a prehistoric civilization with knowledge far beyond our current understanding? Perhaps this explains why these objects were later used by the Egyptians for seemingly simple purposes like sarcophagi, because they, like us today, did not fully understand their true purpose.